Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with my review of Lupinranger vs. Patranger episode 21. So I thought this was another pretty good episode. As I kind of suspected, like as with last week's debut for Lupin / Patren-X, it kind of leaned a little bit more towards Lupin, and this one leaned a little bit more towards the Patrangers, but both teams were featured in it, you know, pretty well in terms of like their interaction with our new 6th Ranger. So, you know, basically it was kind of a continuation / like maybe solidification, I guess, of like the way his dynamic's gonna work, where basically, you know, he's gonna do stuff every week that just kind of lets you know that he's gonna be working with both teams, and honestly at the end of the day his motivations are his own, because we end the episode basically with him seemingly proving his loyalty to the Patrangers, you know, and the episode kind of tries to make you think like, oh, he actually is really trying to prove this, and he's fighting against the Lupinrangers, because he approaches the Lupinrangers after he calls in a tip to them, and he's like, oh, okay, I helped you get the item, but now I'm going to steal it from you, because I'm a thief from steals mother from thieves. And then he's like, because I'm a loyal police officer, yay, police. And the Patrangers are like, and then like at the end of the episode he's like, thanks for going along with the ruse, guys. So it's like classic double agent stuff. Like a lot of people, you know, my main theory right now is basically that he either just wants them to work together eventually, or he's just using them, you know, to accomplish the larger goal, like using both teams. You know, he can see the puzzle from above. I think he just sees the bigger picture more so than they do, where they're obviously both focused on similar goals, but also have their own specific goals. Honestly, I mean, I think given this is Sentai and it's all kumbaya stuff, there's probably a chance that there's going to be some element of him bringing them together. Whether or not that's his intention right now or not, I think that, or at least I'm leaning more towards, I think it's less about him like wanting them to work together than it is about, you know, him just using their different resources and perspective to accomplish the overall goal. It is interesting. I do like it. I think it adds a little bit of like, you know, like almost spy movie-esque stuff to it with all the twists and turns. I could see it getting annoying though, so I hope they don't, I don't know, like about, you know, making it drag on too long. I don't know if I want to say that specifically, but I just mean I hope they don't make it too back and forth annoying. Right now, I think they do a pretty good job. I mean, we're only 2 episodes in, so I really can't be like, oh my god, this has gone on too long. But I mean, I think right now they have a pretty solid setup where they make it pretty clear that, like they're not trying to make you believe one thing or the other. Like, if they had not had that call at the end where he calls the Lupinrangers up and says, thanks for going in on the plan, then I think I could see it being annoying if, like, every few episodes or every episode they made you think, okay, he's Team Patranger. I don't want them to get too overzealous with it and make it like an annoying, gimmicky thing. But I think it definitely sets up an interesting dynamic on multiple levels, because you have Noel's specific dynamic with each team. He's keeping the audience guessing as well as the Rangers guessing, because like where we stand right now in terms of the status quo of what the Rangers believe, the Patrangers more or less seem to trust him, but I think they're apprehensive still. Obviously, I don't think they're like full on like, yay, let's go be Facebook official. There's no way they're accepting that friend request yet. And the Lupinrangers don't trust him, but they're willing to work with him to, you know, accomplish their own goals. And, you know, it was seen that he obviously knew Good Striker and this week, and that he knows Kogura. I know his name's Kogura. I call him Kyogre because I have a permit. I can do what I like. Ron Swanson. No, I'm just kidding. But, like, you know, they know each other obviously because they're all involved in the Lupin collection stuff, and they have a suspicious meeting at the end. So that's the kind of stuff that intrigues me, because while it's kind of fun and could be interesting to see, you know, the whose side's he on this week type of bit, I think the larger above stuff is more interesting, with like the larger conspiracy and the alliances there, and like, because the whole thing is about, oh, was he with the Lupinrangers or the Patrangers? But there's much more like conspiracy and mysteries going on with Kogura, because Kagura, that's so many names like that are just similar right now. But like, I think that's just a little more interesting, because like when it comes to that dynamic, like I'm not exactly sure where the allegiances lie. I mean, obviously this guy's a Ranger. I don't foresee them making him evil or something later, I mean, for any longer period of time. But I mean, between him and Kyogre, who's been suspicious as all get out since the beginning, that's the kind of stuff I'm curious about, to see where their allegiances lie, to see, you know, if there's any shifts, how long that would last, will it last for the whole show, because sometimes Toku shows will surprise you and the owner of the cafe ends up being Bloodstone. I didn't call that early enough, but, you know, I think that there's interesting stuff there. With it leaning a little bit more towards Patranger this week, they showed off the fact that the trains can also combine with Pat Kaiser, which is no dub because they both use Good Striker. I'm really impressed, even though it's in the opening, you know, that they haven't already tried to show off, you know, his mecha form. I like the little slow burn for that. Unfortunately, it makes it so the toys don't release until they show everything off, because I don't know why. Like, oh, we don't want to spoil it, even though it's in the opening. I don't know the whole reason behind that. It's like the opposite of Power Rangers, where we'll get like a dozen things that won't be in the show till possibly next year, but then Sendai's like, we can't release the toy till the kids see the Megazord. But yeah, so I like that we're getting a little bit of a slow burn with that. The Ganglers are kind of like doing the classic villain, like, oh, should we take him out, sir? The suspicious X character? They're like, no, it's interesting. Let's see what he does. It's like, no, you just, why would you? I mean, obviously they're not going to defeat him. This is Sentai. But I mean, just the villain logic behind those types of plans always just kind of gets to me. But yeah, I thought this was overall a solid episode. It was entertaining. There was some good stuff to it. And I'm looking forward to seeing how all this plays out. I just hope they don't, you know, like overplay it so it becomes annoying. But overall, 7.7, pretty good episode. I didn't like it quite as much as last week's, but I thought it was good. I am looking forward to seeing the mech debut and seeing this develop. Anyway, until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can see all these crazy videos and whatnot. Dawson Ryder, signing out.